Twitch streaming, and this is Steve going live tonight. The time is 11:47 p.m. and I just got done eating an excellent chicken dinner with mashed potatoes, so excuse me on the wait there. I've spent most of the day today just, moving a lot of my boxes out to the front because if you guys don't know it, I'm moving. We're trying to do this stream at the same time, so there's a lot involved going on right now here. So, 1 second here, I'll close some of these windows. So what I've done is I've set up a few different windows here. I've got the Vice window set up, and then I got the C64 window in the background set up. I got the Vice window set up, and then I've also got the desktop background going on here. So I think I've got a little bit more organized. So I just had a little bit more time tonight, of course, getting everything squared away in that. So what I was thinking about doing, I was talking all about the Indiana Jones. I do have both of them right here. I think they're both right here. Let me just double check. Pretty sure they're all right here. Right here. So this is the one I was working on for the longest time. But the machine language project evolves around Spelunker, of course. Okay, so also before I get started here, I want to kind of see if people are popping in the stream so I can make sure I'm on key with everybody. So I'm just going to take a peek here real quick. So it says there's 0 viewers right now, so I'll just kind of keep an eye on the chat room here. Maybe there's a way to broadcast this. I've seen people actually set their chats directly inside of OBS, but I don't know how to do that yet. So let me just see if I create another window here, maybe. Excuse me. So I'm just going to call this one chat room. I think we have enough to get started, like I said, for now, because I think, I've got the camera here, I've got the C64, my regular system here, you see in the background, behind me here. Whoops. So that everything is accessible. And then it would be nice if I could figure out how to save this each time so I don't have to go back in and reset this. So we could switch over here and I could show you, since I'm looking at that screen right now. Where's that one at? You just click on it right here. Illustrator sprites here. So you can see me kind of navigating in here. I'm just going to go back here to the background here. And these are the sprites for the game. Really with the game, it only has a few sprites. It has the regular character. It has some of the animation parts of the character. It has the ghost. And it has a few of the objects, but there's really not a lot more to it, really, other than that. And I'm going to go ahead here and pull up Vice here for a minute. Switch to Vice here as I go through it. So you can see that I'm doing it here. You probably won't see the menus. I'm actually trying to load in the game here now. So you see that's a hard reset I just did there. And then I'm going to go to attach disk image, drive 8. And we're going to be looking for, if I can find this Spelunker clone on here. It's possible I may have not saved it on here, but I may have to look around here again. Excuse me on that. Hopefully I'll find it. I think it's right there. Okay, cool. I found it pretty fast. So it's got like a little title screen. Now you won't hear, excuse me, you won't hear any music because it's not, probably because I have everything running directly through the microphone right now. I don't really think you're going to hear any music, but we'll see. This one right now. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Usually doesn't take that long to load that. But anyways, over here what I did is I kind of broke down some of the stuff to the Indiana Jones project here. And these little right here, you can click on these instantly, and you can go to the little sections I created for those specific points or routines or subroutines in the actual code itself. Make it easier to kind of navigate around. Let me get back here again. So this first part is what's called the sprite shape data location. And if you see these images right here, each of these are different images that are actually loaded in, and they're 64 bytes in size. If I'm correct on my math, it should be 21 by 24. Let me just get my calculator out. Surprised I forgot to do that today. I'll pull it up here for a minute. Go through some calculations here for the sprites. So the sprites are 504 pixels in length. I think if you divide it by 64, it tells you, yeah, there's 7 across there. So essentially, this is where the sprite shape data locations are located. If you wanted to see what this register is, I'll convert it. First, I'll show you the hex. It's in hex. Hexadecimal is how programmers write. You can see it says decimal 2040, so that's where the sprite memory location is locating its shape data for each of these sprites in memory. As it sees each one here, it goes through a sprite shape data. So each one of these numbers assigned to this would be assigned to a different shape. And these numbers right beside it, you see the 3000 hex. This is the memory location area where that sprite is specifically found in this program or this game. So 2200, which is 8704 decimal. And it's hex 2200. So I've been kind of going through that. I just wanted to show you that because that's what this is doing right here. So what I did next is I am not sure why this is not loading. I'm going to probably trash it and try something different. It should not be taking this long. I think my failure was using that fast loader. So I'm just going to jump out of this for a second. That's it back again. And this time, just run it directly. And getting back to what I was talking about. So what it's doing here, it's using what's called a load the accumulator value. The load the accumulator is a way that it's looking in memory at a specific point, and what this is doing is it's looking at 7 bytes. Now, each of these, each part of memory is made up of bytes, and it goes from 0 to 255 bytes. If you remember the poke in BASIC, and you take the first number, like, for example, I'll show you this in BASIC for a second, if you need to see that. So BASIC would say, like, poke 2040, and then this after this would be the byte. This is the actual byte location. Hope you could see that. And that would be a number from 0 to 255. And this number could be like indie, let's say indie, shape 1 or shape 2 and so on. And as these numbers are changing each time, like this or whatever the location it's finding it at, it's going to be pointing to a new sprite every single time it shifts through that different data. And that's how the Commodore 64 achieves what's called the actual animation between its sprites on the screen. So what I did here is I did pick this out a little bit, and I found out where this memory location, so you see down here it says 59F0. I pulled this out of Infiltrator to find the actual, these are where the sections of memory are starting. So getting back here, this would be 88 for the first sprite here, for sprite 0. 89 would be sprite 1. For some reason, they're not using sprite 2, and so on. And you see them all the way through there. Now, these are the hex values. So actually, I'm saying 88, so I'm doing that wrong. This is hex. Excuse me. So it'd be 136. So it'd be 136, 137, 00, and they're just being converted. And to this day, I still cannot convert very well. So I'm moving this over a little bit here so I can keep this on the screen there. So that's essentially what it's doing, is it's just converting. That's the C4 right there. If you had to look at it that way, that's what, essentially that is right there, C4, or 196 hex. And it, or C5, I'm sorry, so C5, no, C4 is 196, so C, what I do, I use C4, so these are like C4, oh, and then there's C5, 197, C5, and so on. So that's where it's finding the location of the sprite data at this point in memory, and it's loading in the values here. Here's another part I did. I pulled apart some more parts of the sprite shape data, And this is actually showing, this is a little deeper in the code. You know, here it says 8406, this says 8420. You can see that this is at, this was 59F0. You can see it right there, 59F0. However, this one is 59F8. So what it's doing is it's picking up right after here, and it just kind of continues on. And I'll show you this in the hexadecimal. I'll pull up the hex editor, and I just realized I should probably do a screen capture for the hex editor. So give me a second. I'm going to pull that up next. I'm going to pull the hex editor up here. I'm going to create one for the hex editor. I think that'd be a good idea. We'll just Infiltrator hex editor. Well, it's not really. It's a hex viewer. It's not editor. It's called viewer. Hex viewer, and then we'll set this to Windows capture again, and go back and just reload it. Just pick one here, and then we'll just go through it until we find it. Where are you? There it is. So I just set that to hex editor. Now we have the hex editor. We could just enlarge this one so you can see it a little bit better. There we go. I'll set it in the center of the screen there. So I wanted to show you this because of what we're getting back here. And for the sprite editor, we're looking at memory location. If we go back, for example, to the sprites here again, or I'm sorry, to the Word doc. Okay, there we go. Much better. Okay, so getting back to what I was talking about here in Tempo Doom, these are 59F0. This is the hex editor, and then we'll go back to the hex editor so you can see what's kind of going on there right here. So we're going to look up 59F0 in our hex editor. Now you can scroll this down here, or you can use the page up and down. I like using page up and down. I grew up with page up and down, and it's faster for me. It just seems easier in my head. Okay, so we're going to be looking for 59F0, which is down here. 59. Oh no, I'm sorry, I passed it. I'm taking 5F. It's 59F0. So I need to go back up here. 59 would start before the A, B, C, D, E, F. 59F0. Here we are. 59F0. Why am I seeing zeros here? I wonder if I have the Spelunker still loaded. I have the Spelunker still loaded here, so I need to switch out Vice to bring up the right one, because we're still looking at that one. It's alright, I still have it on here. I just need to pull up the Tempo Doom one and just reload it, and we'll just assemble it again, and we'll get it back up here in just a minute. So I'm going to go to the live view here for a minute so you can kind of see what's going on here. So I'm going to go over here to this, and I'm just going to, I loaded in. I went to Vice like this, and I just clicked on Indie and the Tempo Doom like that. And I'm opening up Indiana Jones and the Tempo Doom one now. And I can just pick up my disassembler here. And it should preload. But if it doesn't, I can just go back here and disassemble it for a second. And then I can just go back here. And it should be in here now. To test it, I can go to my sprites and just shift back on them. And you'll see how they change instantly. It sweeps over and it figures out the next program you're looking at. So there's the Indiana Jones ones right there. Those are the multicolors for it. So now we got the right one up. Now when we got to do the hex editor, it should load the right ones. And 59F0. Maybe I have to close it. Let me see. It didn't look right to me when I pulled it up. There it is. This can't be right because I have F9F0 here. So let me see. 59F0. And I have 8889. Here we have 9495. So let me do something here quick. I'm just going to look this up in and pull this up inside of the Vice window here for a minute. So let me go back to Vice, and instead of loading Spelunker here, we're going to load in the Indiana Jones one. I just wanted to show you the Spelunker because to show you that's the project that we're working on. But really, we want to get back to the Indiana Jones one. Alright, let me just take a look here quick. I think it's down here. I think it's in this one. Indiana Jones, I think this is it right here. There's so many of them. I think this is it. So I attach it, so it's now attached device. So now what it is like loading an asterisk, like a $sign, comma 8, and basically allowing you to access that new file in memory. So if I do this, for example, you'll see it'll load in the Indiana Jones right there. And then we can just do the regular load extra company, comma 1, to load it. And you'll see it system, created the system, and we can just run it. I think this is the one. So as I pull it up here, let me just see if I jump out of this for a minute. I was just making another announcement there in YouTube so people know that I'm here tonight. Okay, so going back to the Twitch stream here. Now, I'm just going to load this. Okay, now we're going to switch to the full screen for Vice. Then you just kind of see it in full screen there. And this is the actual game. Need my controller. Got a little tangled up there. Okay, press fire, and you'll see it load. So there we go. It's going to pause this so I don't end up dying. And you can see this is the actual game that we were doing earlier. I'll go back to regular desktop again here to show you what I'm talking about. You can see over here, of course, that I got, these are the sprites. You can see this is Indiana Jones. I'll switch this back to the single color. Actually, never mind, the single color isn't going to show you any group. Why did it do that? Okay, it didn't load it back, that's why. The single color doesn't look very good, so I guess I'm going to do multicolor. You can't really see the single color there. But anyways, you can match up the colors if you want. It isn't so important to match up the colors as this to know that this is a game that I said we were going to disassemble. And you can see these are the sprite shapes. Indy's made up of 2 different sprites. You notice he's got a top one here and he's got a bottom one here. So to kind of take up more of the screen and give them more definition, they made the sprite a little bit larger essentially here. Okay. So the whole goal of this, getting back to the project here, is what we're trying to do here. These shapes, these numbers here, are defining the different Indy characters that are coming in memory. I have no idea why my hex editor isn't looking right for some reason. Oh wait, no, that's right. I had Splunker in earlier. Let's see, 9495 looks like. Unless I just copied this wrong. Let me see, 959F0, because I copied this directly from Vice as it was running in Vice. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'll pull up Vice. I'm saying Vice. I mean the monitor in Vice. We're going to pause this for a minute, and then we're going to go into the monitor here. Now this is the assembly monitor built directly into the emulator for the Commodore 64 for Vice that allows you to see and interact with the program live. See any changes you make here, and I'll just type in D here to show you. It's directly live inside the computer's memory. So this is the actual code we're looking at for this game. And I'll show you here. I'll go to this actual location for 8486 to show you what I'm talking about here. And you can see, well, actually, let's see, 8406. It may be off by a few bytes too, because we were running a hacked version too. So I might have to play with this a little bit. 8407, 8408. 408. Looks like it might be off by a little bit there. But anyways, we'll get back to this in just a second here. These are the registers, status registers, and right here is the one. Looking for the one right. This is the memory. This is about as close as we're going to get it, really, to seeing the bytes here. So we can use this to kind of peek at the memory here. And I'll show you another thing that I learned here. If you go down here, and let me just shut this out here. As I was playing with Vice, I learned this. If you just go down here and you type in mem in the location, 8406, you'll see it gives you a spill of the actual hex registers or the data values found in those memory locations. So let's do F9, F0, for example. Sorry, 59F0, and see if I can get it. And there they are. Look at that, 888900. We got some C0 in here for some reason. That's because we're running it live, probably. And it's, according to this, it looks like it might be interacting directly with this register inside of the game. Now, I was talking to somebody earlier, and he mentioned that could be what's going on. Is it's interacting directly with these registers, so they're going to be changing real time here. So that's interesting. We just saw, now these two stay the same. Let's see if I move Indy a little bit, and let's see if these change. I'm just going to take a screenshot of this real quick, just out of curiosity. Where did my screen thing go to? Up there, okay. And just freeze it here for a second, and we'll just take a quick screenshot of this memory location here. So we can kind of put it up on the screen there, and take a look at 59F0 after we run the code a little bit here. So I close the monitor. You know, no, I'm going to cancel this. Go back to device. Okay, we're running live here now. I'm going to kind of move a little bit. I didn't play a minute die in there. Okay, let's do this again. So I'm moving a little bit. I'm moving a little bit around there. Uh-oh, get him out of the way. Get him out of the way. And I'm going to end up dying here if I'm not careful. And not come back up. They're just going to keep coming. So I wanted to kind of move around here a little bit to kind of pause this. Or go back to the monitor here real quick. I don't end up dying. Okay, that's good. And then we're going to look at these registers now and see if they've changed. This will probably tell me something, and I just died again. Dang it. This is a very hard game. You end up dying so quickly. And I'm going to get away from these guys. They're just killing me like crazy here. Okay, get out of my ladder. Get out of my ladder, guys. Okay. I don't know if they can get me up here very well. I think I'll probably be safer up here. Okay, so I can kind of move around a little bit there. Now he moved a little bit more. Now let's go back to the monitor, and we'll examine it. And see, look at that. It changed. So if I go back here earlier, and with our screenshot here, for example, we can kind of compare it side by side here, and we can see the memory registers are changing because the sprite shape data is changing. So it's actually altered several of these. Earlier I noticed that these two didn't move, so I think these two might be the Indiana Jones character, and maybe the top and the bottom part of him or something. These might end up being the bad guy. You can see a lot of these actually ended up changing, because this is keeping track of what's going on in the code real time. So hopefully that makes sense. So what we're basically talking about is, for example, Indy. If Indy represented this first D2, this would be that Poke 2040, comma D2, or whatever D2 translates to, which would be 210, for if you had to look at it that way. Let me just put it back up here somewhere. Maybe I just put it under here. I guess I could just Poke 2040, comma, it'll be D2, but in, of course, the basic, it's going to be the 210, like that. And then this would be 211, 00, and then whatever 98 is. So these are basically changing the shape data as the character's moving around to point at the next animation frame. That's why I wanted to show you that. So I'm just going to erase this. So I should have went to live on that. I just realized that went off the screen there. Hopefully you saw that there. So that's what's going on, is it's changing those sprite shape datas for us real time there. So I think that's kind of interesting, because you can see the graphic in real time interact with the computer itself. Although you can't really save a Vice file that I found anywhere, it's pretty cool what you can really do with it though. You can actually go in here and I could alter, if I wanted to, like real quickly, I could show you like how to do something real simple to test it, like changing the border color. This is real simple. Since I already used Infiltrator, I could just go back to Infiltrator and then look up the memory location and alter it really quickly here. I'll show you what I mean here. I'm just going to go to full screen back on my disassembler to show you for a second here. Or I might have clicked on the wrong one. I said that was not disassembler. Alright, let me see where it went to. Maybe I never set it. I had the character set. You know what? I didn't even capture that one. Well, anyways, we'll just put this over top here, just to expand it a little bit, I guess. So it wasted so much time on it. So what we're going to do is here, we're going to go here to the graphics, and we're going to look for the D020. You see this memory location 5CD8? This is storing the background color as 0. So we could change this to like red, green, or whatever. I'll change it to yellow to show you in a minute here. So we're going to change 5CD8 inside of the device monitor. Let's go back to device. And we're going to go to the, I think we already have the monitor open. Yeah, we already have the hex editor open here. So we're going to look up the 5C, and I knew it's going to end up forgetting it. What was it again? Okay, so I need to go back to the, excuse me a second here, I lost the assembler. I had to put that off the background here. So it's 5CD8, D8? 5CD8 would do it. So going back to the device again here, 5CD8, we're going to look up 5CD8, and you can see it's kind of back here. Let's see, 5CD8, did I do that right? There it is. You can see where it says 5CD8, and it shows loaded camera immediate value 0. So we're going to change that to like a 7, or we can change it to whatever we want to. You just go like this. You have to type an A in front of it for a symbol, and you type the memory location after it, the 3-character mnemonic, and then you just type in 07 like that, and you'll see, whoops, what did I do wrong? Oh, you know what? I forgot to put, I know what I forgot. I forgot to put in the memory location. So it wants to know where are you disassembling. At 5CD8, assemble, load the camera immediate value of 07. But why did it say wrong syntax? Let's see. I did it backwards. So it has to be at tech assembler first, 5CD8. I'm gonna get this 07. There it is. So it should have altered 5CD8. There it is. You can now see, hopefully on the screen, that it now shows it as a 7 there. And I think what I'm also going to do inside of, excuse me a second, I'm going to add another window if I can for the monitor here. I can only do it while it's actually open, so we'll just call this device monitor. Let's see if I can capture the monitor here again. And I could just type in the same command again. The disassemble 5CD8, load the command with a different value. Trying to think of one right now. 13 is the green color. Let's see what. Oh, I did disassemble. Oh, my bad. You have to do assemble, not disassemble. 13. Actually, what is 13? I need to do 13 hex. So 13 hex would be D. So 13D. That should be the green background, and it should have changed it to the background for green now. And you see the 0D is now overriding the memory there. And you can see it on my screen. So I'm going to switch back to the mode here for a second so you guys could see the whole desktop.